Hi guys, welcome back to the shop. Hey, before we get on the points and condensers and all that stuff, all the ignition, this thing is 60 some years old or right at it. So I'm going to go ahead and change out the crank seals. I should have done that, but really we haven't even been in that far yet. And besides that, you know, these things have set that long, the clutch is probably going to be stuck. So it's just a good thing to go in over there and take a peek at it. And, you know, although we've had all this off to clean it up and everything, it just makes it easier to get off again because it's all clean and I've got all the new wiring on and all that. I've already got it partially disassembled. I've got the pipe off on this side, or the muffler really, foot pegs. I think that's about it. It's just preliminary stuff, but we'll go ahead and start with removal of the side cover on the other side. And then once we get that one all buttoned back up, then we'll come back around here and do this side. And one note, this side over here is, it's different than the Enduros, but the crank side, or the seal on the other side, the clutch side, it's the same as the 125, 175 Enduros. So I had plenty of those laying around here, but this one here was a little bit different, but it's you know, it's not going to be different changing it. It's just the same old thing again, but we'll go through it all and we'll take you on the ride. So I noticed, or I'm sure you noticed, that the gas tank is on, but don't let that fool you. If you've been following the channel with this bike, you know that the other side's not very pretty. So I am looking for a reasonable gas tank, something, you know, this one here, I pretty much, if I have to use this one, it's clean as a whistle on the inside. The only problem is the owie on the other side. So what I'm probably going to end up doing if I use this tank is to just get the chrome off, paint it white or something like that, and then paint it black around it like it normally is. I'm just not going to go through the expense of the chrome unless I can find a tank that is not, you know, there's no dents on it that I have to repair. Let me get you handheld here. We'll go around to the other side and take a peek at it. One thing I did too during this order, I went ahead and got a strap to hold the battery in. Those are still available and they probably fit something else. But if you remember, that's what we got to contend with over here when this thing was wrecked. And if you go back and look at the fork, you know, I can't remember, I want to say it was like 368 thousandths it was bent on this side. And of course the limit stop was broken off of the triple tree too. It just come over here with a lot of force and bent everything. But we got everything straightened up on the front, and I did get a lower triple tree off of a YL1. So all that is buttoned up the way it should be. I'm just gonna have to do something with this, and that's what I've seen some folks do, is they just they paint this portion, the chrome portion, white, or you know, a pastel color, something, and then just paint the black back on. There's some chrome paint out there, and I may investigate that, but it's just so expensive to fix, you know, to get chrome plating done at all. And you know, this here, once you fix this the conventional way with body work, you know, plastic putty and stuff, you're not going to get any chrome on it. It's not going to stick to it. So this is the next thing I need to worry about, but I'm not going to really worry that much about it. You know, if something comes along, it does. If it doesn't, well, we'll just continue on with this. So I'm pretty well set up here. I think I've got the oil injection lines all taken care of here. So I'm not sure I can pull this through under the carburetors. If I can't, I'll have to go ahead and take those out. But you got to be real careful with these plastic lines. You don't want to break them. So we're going to start out over here, pulling the cover off and getting into this thing. Well, first thing isn't very glamorous. It's just getting all these screws out. And we're hoping we don't run into any issues with screws, such as broken ones or stripped ones or anything. This really doesn't look like it's ever been into on this side, which is amazing if you ask me for this old bike. I'm thinking that this motorcycle was probably wrecked very early in its life, and that's probably why. By the way, just like on the Enduros, make sure you get the screw in here. Got one back here behind the oil pump, and make sure that's out of there as well. Okay, got all the screws out. Okay, there it popped. And I did drain the oil, but I'm sure a little more is going to come out. I'm going to get back here. You got to be careful when you're prying on things, but it is necessary sometimes. There's a little piece that sticks out right here behind the oil fill. There we go. Let's see if we can tap it a little bit there. Like a dummy, I didn't get a gasket, and I'll probably need one. Yep, I better get my oil pan. Okay, I'm stuck back here on the backside on the gasket, and I'm just trying to work that. It's stuck right at the bottom, on the bottom of the side case. All right, looks like I maybe got it. I just took a little scalpel and ran it between the, and I'm thinking I'm going to be able to get this out. Yep, there it is. Okay. So I think we've saved the gasket. That looks good so far. And I'm still going to have to probably try to get it off of there so I can clean things up. So this looks pretty familiar over here. So it's pretty much like the Enduro, except there's less stuff there. You know, an Enduro gasket might fit. I'm not sure. I'll have to check it out and see. Okay, no dice on the Enduro gasket. It is different. Not even close. Kind of looks a little familiar, but it's it just isn't going to work. So we've got to be gentle. All right, a little different here. We've got common screwdriver instead of Phillips, but yet it's still not the stupid pins that the Suzuki used. Okay, all of them are loose. Those really don't need to be very tight. They do go into aluminum, so you want to be careful. Yeah, they're pretty stuck together, I think, so It's probably a good thing we did it, otherwise we'd have been doing it anyway. I think I got, yeah, there's one more in there. And we've got our, that looks like it's been into, but none of the screws really did. All right, let's see here. The washer looks like it's been messed with. I guess it's got to be messed with the first time too, so it's not all-inclusive investigative work, I guess. Okay, looks like my Enduro clutch holder fits it. I'll hold on to it, of course. Well, tab's still there. Yeah, it looks like it's been over here too, so I may have been into. Doesn't matter. We're in there now. Okay, we've got our thrust bearing and washer in there. It's just like it is. That looks like grease. Okay, that's installed correctly. And we've got a washer back there. So I think we're in good shape. So now we need to see what's going on here. I am gonna yeah, wasn't too bad. Able to hold it. It kind of starts, and then it stops. Okay, there's the gear. And we've got a spacer here, just like we do with the Enduros. And there's probably, or I know there is because I ordered one, there's a O-ring underneath between the shaft and this. So I'm gonna have to change the camera out, guys, so hang on. Okay, change the battery, not the camera. Just getting low. Okay, we've got to get that out. Usually I can get them out with a pair of channel locks. Just grab a hold of it. Kind of shake it as you're pulling out. There it comes. It looks good. Like I say, this is the one that is the same as the Enduro is. It's looking, well, it feels pliable. And I can see that O-ring in there. But it's been in there for a long time. So we're going to replace it. And usually how I get those out is just with a standard seal puller. This one seems like it has maybe a little bit less room than normal. But you just want to make sure that you're not damaging anything. And just get in there and don't go in too far. There she comes. pull it right out. And this is a double lip seal, just like the Enduro is. So it doesn't really matter which way it goes. And right behind that, let me see if I can get you a little closer. Where's my little pick at? There it is. Okay. That probably isn't going to stay there. But I think you can see it right here. That's the O-ring. And I'm just going to have to set you down here so I can get in there and pick at it until I can get it out. And you know, you don't want to go to all the trouble to change the seal and not do this one, because it's part of the seal in a way. It's sealing that shim, or that spacer on the inside. So there you go. So let me do a little cleanup and I'll bring you back. I do want you to note before I get too far here, see all the oil that's right here? This looks like transmission oil. And that was behind that seal. So I'm thinking it was sucking some. And that's what we need to do, is we need to, we need to make sure that we're not doing that. And, because we had a lot of smoke, and granted I was running premix in it, and the oil pump is also working. So it very well could be just that, but it is 1966 or 65, somewhere in there. So that seal's been in there a long time. So I think it's a good preventative thing here to do. I'm going to show you here. I don't know if you can really see that well, but with a Q-tip. See, that's not injection oil or premix, straight out of the transmission. So we were having a little issue there. Okay, first thing I'm going to do is get in there, and I'm just going to clean the best I can with paper towel. That's kind of a sopping up type deal, because you really don't have enough room in there. So then I've just got some acetone, and the Q-tips, that's what I found to be the best. And you can kind of clean that groove out. And use plenty of them. Don't try to get by with one. And then we'll clean this area here where that's going to go, because the way I put those in, I always put a little RTV around the outside just to make sure I've got a good seal. And it also helps hold it in, because they're really not in there all that tight. So we've gone through, looks like about 5 of them already. So you just got to do whatever you can to get everything nice and clean in there. And once you get that clean, first thing you want to do is put your O-ring in. Now package, this is the part number right down here, but it gives you the size of that, 1.2 by 17.6. But they're just a few bucks. I don't know, I want to say they're $5, but whatever, from Yamaha. It doesn't bother me so much on a O-ring such as this. It's some of the others that are just so, they're $10, and they're not even really sealing anything. Okay, so that's in there. And what we'll do is we'll put a little grease on that and on the bushing or the spacer as it goes in. But right now, I want to get some little bit of RTV started here, and then we'll get that seal in. Okay, at this point, I'm just going to get a little bit of grease on this, and I'm not going to try not to touch where I'm getting ready to put the seal in. I just want to coat that O-ring so it'll make it easier to go in. There. I think I'm good. But just to make sure, I'm going to get one more Q-tip and get some more acetone and just make sure that I didn't touch that with some grease. And we'll let that dry just a little bit. Acetone dries up very quickly. And at that point, we'll go ahead and we're just going to, I'll take a little bit of the black RTV. Now it's not much. And I just start it out here. Clean out all that extra stuff. You just want a little bit. You don't want so much on there that when you shove your seal in that you're shoving RTV back into your bearing. This is just a very thin layer. You can put it on the seal and do it too, but I usually tend to get a lot more of it on me if I put it on the seal. And I'm really not into that. Okay, and then we'll just take one here. Now this is, the seal is going to seat at this depth right here, not out here. You know, be sure to take note of how it is when you remove it. And that's how you want to go back in. All right, I think we got her. And just before I go back or put my seal in, then I take a little acetone and I just clean the circumference of the seal. Give it a little time to dry. And this seal does not matter which way it goes in. It works either way. And you should be able to get it in pretty good just by pushing on it. They don't fit real tight. So that way we know that it's started good. And I've just got a little thing here about the size of the seal that I'm going to tap it in with a plastic hammer. Don't get too crazy about it. Okay, it's going. Okay. Now, I just take a punch and you can see here, if you kind of straddle the seal and the case, that way you can't go too far. Now it's not going to happen down here. You're going to have to be aware of how deep you can see. Okay, that looks good. Yeah, I like that. All right, let's get this thing together, I'm just going to take a little grease here and put on the seal spacer. And you want to try to put it in unless there's a problem where it's really worn. Put it back in the way it was. It can go either way though. And not only am I going to put a little bit there, but I'm going to get a little bit of grease on this is very light grease on the seal. And just kind of turn it as you try to move it in. There. And once you kind of verify it's in there the way it ought to be, then just tap it a little bit with your punch and hammer to get it over that seal or that O-ring. There she goes. All right. Yeah. Now we're home. And just look at that seal good and make sure that the lip looks like it should. Nothing is folded over. And everything looks good there. So we're going to go back with our gear. Just clean it up a little bit here. And our washer and the nut. And I'll tighten that up when I get the clutch together so I can use my penny trick. Okay. Okay, just as I was getting ready to go back together, I noticed something here. This has got a crack in it. So evidently, maybe they were having trouble shifting, or I don't know. But now's the time. We're in here this far. This is really just a limit, but I have a feeling they were having trouble shifting. So this may be out of adjustment, or it may have just been that he really pulled up on it or something for some reason. But what we're going to end up doing is we're going to have to go in here and check our measurement right here. If we don't, we're going to be back in here to repair this crack right here. I can pull this out now and I can go ahead and take that up, move it, kind of move it back in line. It's just, it's hanging on by just a little bit here. And take that back up, kind of smooth it up and reinstall it unless we find something else. But as of right now, we're going to stop assembly and we're going to pull this off and see what our measurement looks like. Well, looks like this is built a little different. But it's got to work just about the same. I've got a Chilton's book on this. I don't have a Yamaha book, so but this looks, you know, you can't take this piece off and look in there like you can on the Enduro. But looking at it from the top, we're in probably second gear right now. It's got to be in second, third, or fourth, I think. If this one's a 4-speed, I think it would have to be in second or third. Wherever you have a pin that is on both sides of the keeper here. But it's actually looking pretty close on both sides. So I'm not sure what this is about, but we do need to fix it. So let me see what I've got to do to get it out of there. Okay, it appears to be exactly like the Enduro's is. We've just got a clip right here, a little E-clip. I'm going to have to move you here a little bit so I can get in there. It's kind of being a pill. I have to get a longer one. Okay, finally got that clip off. It was really tight for some reason. So you get the clip and the washer. Now that should come through. Let me get back to the other side. We're going to have to pull that lever up. All right, we've got to hold up on this as we pull this. And we don't want to tear up our gasket. We've saved it so far. And let's see. So anyway, that thing's not, it's not, sometimes these are bent from an accident, but that one came right through. But there's the back side of this, and you can still, you know, it's cracked all the way through. So I'm going to attempt to kind of straighten this back to where it looks like it should be, and then we'll TIG weld it. Okay, I've got it over here at the bench, and we're going to see if we can. It's kind of difficult to hold. Maybe I need to put it in the vise. I don't think it'll take much to move it. Okay, it looks like it's about where it ought to be. I don't want to bang on it too much more because I'm afraid it'll break off. I'm going to try something here I haven't tried for a while, and that's letting you view through a welding helmet. We'll just see how that works. Kind of tacked on there. I had some little bit of grease or something still in there, I think. Let me clean it up a little. Okay, get it cleaned up a little bit. Okay, got her patched up, I think. Just a little bead on both sides. This has got a, it looks like this is probably a reinforcement of some sort here, but it failed to keep that crack from happening. I think it had something to do with when they had the accident. He probably, I'm trying to think, I don't know. It just really got on it or pulled it up or whatever he had to do. And I have a feeling that it had something to do with it, because what I'm seeing as far as the shifter alignment for the drum, it's looking that it has pretty much the same space on both sides. So I'm gonna take another look at it though. Let's get back over there and put it together. I don't think you could see it. I'll try to get you up there. You've kind of got to look down over the top of this this barrel right here, and in doing so, it looks like these. You know, if you remember when we were doing the AT-1, the pin has got to be this approximately the same distance between from the pin to here and from this pin to there. And it looks that way to me. So I'm thinking that maybe this had something to do with the accident where he just really reared up on the lever, and you know, just about the time he was getting ready to get thrown off probably or something. So I don't know. I'm going to look in the book and see if I can find anything on it, but I think that it sets up probably the same as the Yamaha Enduros do. And we got that put in on the other side. And let's see if we can get our keeper back on. It was pretty tight. And kind of looks like it might be tight going back on too. Well, that's kind of a tight one in there. I may have to get something, see if I can tap it down with a hammer. It's kind of started. There. All right. It's hard to get back up in there. Okay, we've got our thrust washer up here. And we want to get our bushing in here with the hole to the outside. It's the same as it is on the Enduros. And got our cog here. Up goes this way. I almost messed that up. Okay, so that's good. And then, of course, there's a lot of poo-poo in there. Let me try to clean that out. Okay, maybe I got most of that out of there now. I think it was just that grease that they used to assemble it with. There it is. We're going to have the washer. This is actually part of the thrust bearing. So if you order one of these thrust bearings, you're going to get that washer too. That's the way it is on the Enduros. All right. Should be good. This clutch is just seen very little use. There's just not much. You can see that but you just really can't feel it. Well, I guess there's just one place that tang goes, and it's right there. It's got a cutout for it, so it can't go anywhere but there. Let's see, is that the 19? Yep. Okay. Okay, here we go. Hope the ball's in there. I never found it or saw it come out over here. Let me take a peek up in there. Yep, looks like it's there. Okay, the clutch plates are supposed to be, let's see, 3.80 I think is the least. Replace if less than 3.08, and we're at 4, right at 4, so we should be good. This, like I said, I think this has seen very little use. So I'll go ahead and get those in. And checking our free length on our springs. 3142. And it says to replace them if they're shorter than 23.5 millimeters. So we're good in that department. We've got our pusher in there, got our washer folded over. So we'll start putting our screws in. And then we need to tighten this up. I put my penny up in there. Okay. And there's our penny. So it cost me a penny to tighten that up, but I use those on multiple engines. You usually get several times out of them. All right, we're ready for a side cover. Let's see if we can get this oil injection line fished back up through there. Oops. I have to go over to the other side, make sure that's doing what it's supposed to do. Yeah, looks good. Those things are so fragile. We'll get all our screws back in there. And don't forget the one up inside. Now I hope I don't have any trouble with my gasket. I think I was okay. I just didn't want to try to take it off. Figured it probably wouldn't fare very good. And we'll get our oil line back on. Didn't lose too much. All right. And now we've got to hook our oil lines back up. And we're going to get our oil back in there. I kept everything clean, I hope, because I just changed this oil. You know, I don't know whether I actually tightened the drain plug though. So I better do that. Put it in, but yeah, I didn't. Okay, now let's continue on here. Well, we've got rid of our cold snap. It lasted probably a week and a half. The worst we got was 32 below zero, and that hung around for 2 or 3 days. And we're back into the 40s. We've even had some 50s. So this one didn't last very long. Some of them don't. We'll look at it here and see. Get our oil cable back in place. We'll have to adjust all this. I just tried to keep it where it was for the time being. But we'll adjust it all and get the old kicker back on. Okay, get started on this side now. And first thing I need to do here is pull my brushes. Just going to reach in here and grab, got a little 90-degree pick here. Reach in here and grab the spring and pull it. And then reach in there with the needle nose and pull our brush out. There we go. Got one more down here. And if you've got a YL1E, you're going to have 2 more of these over here for your starter. Okay, I'll just go ahead and start getting the wires disconnected. Just slowly move it out. Unless you got one that just wants to come off. Okay. Remember that we just had that off not too long ago. And cleaned everything up inside. And that is a, let's see, 2048. See what our new one is. $20.48. Yep. Good to go. This one's unique to this model anyway. The other side, like I said, fits the AT-1, CT-1 Yamaha Enduros. So let me get set up here to pop this baby out. All right, just kind of pay attention to the inside of the new seal. You see the metal portion in there. That's where you want to drill your hole. And you don't want to go into your bearing. You just want to get in there. Just like that. And then I just use a little slide hammer. Let me get you out here so I can kind of show you. It hadn't been that long ago since I did one on a CT3. It's just something I made. It's not a very big slide hammer, just a piece of pipe, some coal roll with a screw on the end of it. And you may have to drill a hole bigger, but we'll see if we can get it in there. Get you a little more area here to see. There we go. You know, I'm kind of thinking now, I probably forgot that I'd already done this one on this side. But that's all right. Yeah, I think I did, because I can see the silicone here that I put in. That's all right. People need to see sometimes how to do it, and that's okay. But I know I hadn't changed the other side. Let's see, I think that key was in there. Let me see if I can find that. It was in there and it must have fell out. All right, yep, it pulled out when I pulled out with the slide hammer there. And it's just a repeat of the other side. A little acetone, clean up your sealing surface. I was glad to see that one was a little harder to pull out since I had used the sealant on it. So I guess I spent $7.22 I didn't need to spend. I plumb forgot I had already done this side when I did all this before, because all this was really nasty in here. Cleaned that out. And take some acetone and clean the crankshaft right there where the seal is going to run. And we'll let that dry real quick. Doesn't take long for that. And again, just a little bit of sealant on the outside edge here. And I'm just going to put a little grease in the new seal. And there again, take a little bit of acetone and clean the outside. You can see that dries almost immediately. And go ahead and ease it up there. It will just about push in without any hammer use at all. But we'll use it a little bit here. Clean this up. A little bit of the excess. And then I just take my punch and again, just split the difference between the case and the seal. Just use a little hammer. That way you can't drive it in too far. All right. And then just take a little acetone there and clean that up. So we're done with the seal. Okay, I think I'm going to stop there. We'll just call that the seal replacement. And in the next video, we'll start on the ignition and go from there. But I've got some stuff I want to clean up on the stator, so I think I'll leave it right there so I don't have to take it back apart. So there you have it, guys. Seal replacement, and like just about always, we run into something else that we have to fix or repair. So I think we've got the shifter. You know, I don't think that has anything to do with how it shifts or anything. Those are, I think, a lot more of a limit than anything. But everything looks like it's centered like it is with the AT-1 and CT-1 up there for the shift fork. So I'm going to call it good now, but if I run into a problem, I couldn't find anything in the Chilton manual about it. But it's got the same eccentric that you have on those enduro bikes, so it's got to work the same. But anyhow, I don't anticipate any problem with that. But again, we did the crank seals on both sides, and come find out I'd already done this side. Sometimes I just forget what I've done, I guess. But yeah, we had cleaned all this up because it was really nasty over here, and I'd gone in and done all that before. But that's okay. A $7.22 seal is not a big deal. And now we know the whole thing is done, and it's all done in one video. So if you need to do it, you can refer to the video and see how it's done. I've done several others, and I always do them pretty much the same way. But this side, I just drill a hole in, pull it out with my slide hammer, and you can make one of those really easy. You can just probably whatever you got laying around the shop, you can make a little slide hammer out of. And if you can't, you can just get a screw and put it in there and put a vice grip on it, and you're probably going to be able to just pull it out most cases. So the other side, there's enough room once you get the sleeve out, spacer out, to get one of those hook type oil seal removers in there, and they just come right out. It's no wonder that they end up sucking oil and leaking, because they just really don't fit very tight. That's why I use the silicone. So hey, thanks for going along on the ride, and we'll see you next video.